Hey everyone. I don't know if you can tell by the things here what I'm planning on doing, but I look at all these beautiful grungy scraps and tea-dyed pieces. Now these pieces, this is some tatting I had. These are all pieces I did during the summertime. And here's a little strip of something that was eco-dyed. I mean, baby blanket. I have some cheesecloth. This I didn't even do during the summer. I think I did it the summer before. And I have some pillowcase that I tea-dyed. And I have some, and these are coffee-dyed strips. This is fabric that I got from Debbie Ham. It was white, and it had this pattern in it. You could barely see it because it was all white. So I tea-dyed it, and it just made that pop because that pattern didn't dye. And, just odds and ends. And what I'm doing, let me show you why I decided to do this. Found another little piece as I was going going through there. I think I found this. I got that from Miss Pearl. But so as I was looking through my ephemera trying to find things to put in these two journals, I found these. I don't know. I think they were belly bands is what I made them for. And they were made from paper bags and napkin. I think there's napkin on these too. I will try to find that video and put the link below. But as I was looking at them, I thought I was going to, maybe do a belly band. I thought, those would make great bookmarks if I backed them with something, which led me to, ooh, I would like to have some dyed grungy fabrics to put on the back, which made me go to the kitchen because who doesn't keep their fabric in the kitchen? Uh, and I found my tea bags where I have been dyeing some things for Woolly. So I thought, ooh, I want to make a snippet roll with this because isn't that, I mean, look at the markings on those tea bags. Isn't it beautiful? If you like grungy, I just think it's beautiful. So anyway, my thought is I'm going to cut this into strips and glue it together. And I still hadn't decided if I was going to use Mod Podge, if I wanted a crispy feel, or if I wanted just the soft cloth. So I have my Mod Podge here, Mod Podge, and a glue stick. I don't know which way I'm doing this yet. You can tell that I'm very indecisive because this is just, I'm doing this just as a thought, and who knows how it's going to turn out. But I want the back of it to be all these fabrics, so I'm going to make a snippet roll and glue it or sew it if I can. I think I can sew it because I don't think there's any metals around the edges. But from this side, I want some of this to peek out. I also want some of the fabric to peek out. So I'm just going to cut this, use this one, kind of the width a little bit wider than my belly band there. And I'm just going to do a couple of them. I think I'll make one. Well, I really want that edge, so, is that wide enough? Yeah, it'll stick out pretty good, won't it? And then I can't decide if I want the fabric, if I want the tea on top of the fabric, where maybe what shows from this side is fabric. And, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. But we're going to play around, and I'm going to cut this one tea bag. This is a gallon size, so it's pretty big. And I have two of them. So I'm going to make the other one in for the Christmas journal, this little journal, with this one. Because I noticed that the brad on this one says 25. So I thought that's going to be a perfect one to put into the Christmas journal. So that's going to be for that one. We won't do that one on camera, but we'll work on this one. So I think because I have this torn piece already of, this is actually tea-dyed baby blanket. And I like how that looks peeking out from behind that. So I think I worked it out because of that. I'm going to put this on this side. I'm going to tear it down some where you can see the fabric from the other side. Maybe I'll just do pieces. Maybe it won't be a continuous thing. And that's fine too. I just want to be able to use some of this because it's just got the prettiest color. So I guess doing it this way, I think I'll just use the glue stick because I do plan on sewing this together. I'm just basically holding it, doing this to hold it on there till I get to the sewing machine part. So put that like that. Maybe do some more. I really like this tea bag. It's just so grungy pretty. And I want some of it to show. I don't want to completely cover the tea bag, but I'm think I'm gonna put some fabric spots on top of it. Definitely. So I'm just working along here, gluing down that tea bag onto this tea dyed baby blanket. I'll cut some, get some smaller strips. Move it over a little bit where you can still see the fabric. Maybe do something like that. So I'm just kind of piecing it together. Really don't have a plan. Isn't that sometimes the best way when we don't have a plan? This is just going to be the perfect look. That baby blanket is the perfect length for this tea bag. That couldn't have worked out any better, I don't think. Wonderful. Okay. Now, we've got our baby blanket covered with the tea bag. Not totally, but, you know, good enough. So now I'm going to take some of these pieces, some of this fabric and some of this, all these things here that I showed you. And here's I never use these things. This is probably from Miss Pearl. It looks like it's probably from a wedding dress. And I just stuck it in some tea. I'm just going to glue down. I'm not even, I don't want to think. I want to just glue. So hopefully I can do that without thinking too much. Let's make sure I'm in camera. And I love these colors. Trying to figure out, maybe I need some, let's do some of this pillowcase. I just would like to use some different colors, different shades of the tea dye. Said I wasn't going to think too much, and now look, I'm wanting to already put that underneath. I think, you know, I don't know that I've done a fabric snippet roll before, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I think I should lay down some of the more solid pieces maybe first. Found this piece on the floor as I was coming over here to my desk, so it needs to go on. And maybe I'm covering it up too much. I don't know. I'll just be honest, I don't know what I'm doing. So we'll just work a section at a time here. Here's a piece of, I think this, I don't know what this is. Maybe I'll cut a smaller piece of it. Do something like that. Of course, that all kind of running the same, isn't it? Looking like it all mixed together. So maybe now I need to put some kind of lace or cloth. Have some of this lace that I rust dyed. Let's put some of that on there. Maybe I need to quit making my shapes so square looking too. I'm probably not going to do it now, but like when I get ready to put it in a journal, like if I don't know if I'm going to use it as a pocket or whatever, but I think when I get ready to do that, I'm going to put some pieces, like metal pieces on there too. I think that would be fun to do. Just kind of scrunching up some pieces. I really want this to be a quick little project. I don't want to think it to death like I normally do. I have this little piece of tatting here. Isn't that pretty? Probably somebody's going, oh my gosh, you're putting tatting on that hot mess. Yes, yes I am. Here's some of that eco dye. I like the color. It's a little bit thicker than the rest of my stuff, but I like it. I think it deserves a place on here. Fray it out a little bit. I won't lose my little embellishment there. Here's some more lace. Just cutting a few odd sizes, kind of like triangles, trying to make it where everything's not so symmetrical. And I like that tea bag showing from underneath. Let's see what else we got here. Some of this fabric. Trying to get it just some odd shapes, I think. Found a little piece of this material. Maybe it needs to go on here somewhere too. I think I made some fabric pockets, laminated fabric pockets out of this one time. Cut some of these little, I don't know what they are, some kind of They're from a doily. They're just some end piece kind of things. Put that down. Maybe get some more of this applique. I may have found a way for me to use appliques. I never thought I liked these things, but this was over there in the already dyed box from last summer, so we might as well do something with it, huh? I want to cover up my tatting. I think I'm getting things too close now. Now I'm trying to get too much on there, maybe. Let's put another little piece of fabric. Maybe I have just too much stuff. Maybe I should have gotten less things to glue down. Love that ratty tat look of that eco dye stuff. I'll put that down. This one doesn't look like it's been dyed. That's okay. We'll have all kinds of colors on here. I like this cheesecloth stuff to kind of come in here and just do some scrunched up bits. Something like that. And then I also have this more gauzy kind of stuff that would look good kind of laid around too. Something like that. Just kind of pulling strings of it out. Another thing that would look good, I have some black thread. Maybe I'll put some of that on here too. Put some of this up here. I don't want to really cover up my tatting too much, but let's take some of this black thread. Just put some down like that. Okay, so what do you think of it? I've just stuck down things, and I want to put some buttons on here. I think that needs something. That's just too bright in your face. That needs some of this stuff. I like her picture being there fine, but it just seems like, yeah, that it needs something ratty-tat over it. Like that. So what do you think? I'm going to sew on this just to keep the pieces down. And then I'm going to come back and maybe stitch on a few buttons. Ooh, I wanted to put some of this kind of stuff on there too, and maybe maybe a few words. Or am I getting too much stuff on here? I don't know. Like I say, I've never really done one that's fabric before. So I'm kind of just, I think I pulled out too many things to put on here, first of all. So now I feel like I need to put it all on here. And I think I'm getting too much stuff. But there's so many of these things that I just love. I think they're so pretty. But I still do have some of my tea bag showing, and that's a win because I really wanted some of my tea bag to show. But I think what I'm gonna quit for now, she said, as she put on another piece. I think I'm gonna quit for now, and then maybe come back and put on some buttons, you know, in the places that I feel like, ooh, I feel like that needs to go right there. Uh, maybe put on some buttons in places like on that, and I don't know. What do you think? Think I ought to leave it alone, or let's sew and see what happens, and then love these little tatted pieces. Let's sew and see what happens, and then I'll come back. This is so much fun, you guys. Oh my gosh, I see why people make these all the time. They're a blast. So much fun. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've done some crazy sewing on it. I say crazy. It's not terrible crazy. Just done a couple of rows down through there, trying to make sure I got, you know, at least a little bit of everything. I don't mind if it sticks up some, but over there by my sewing machine, I found this paper tape that I had forgotten about in a bag, and I think I'm going to glue some of that across different areas. I just think it's so pretty. I think I'll use my art glitter glue for that though, because it is paper. It should stick just fine. I won't bother with, you know, sewing it down. But I thought this would make a neat little addition. And then I have tons of embroidery thread that, of course, I can't find anywhere. So I guess what I'm going to do is I found some of this crochet thread. I'm going to use it and maybe sew on some buttons. Put that on that tatting. Very cool. Okay. Maybe sew on some buttons. I have some pretty ones here. Just gonna, oops, pick a few. I don't know what size I'm gonna need or put on, but there's some. I also think it would be fun to, as I'm sewing on those buttons, maybe do a little bit of slow stitching in here. Maybe I'll slow stitch some on these little, because that doesn't look like it wants to stay very good. Maybe I need to slow stitch that a little bit. Keep that on there. I say slow stitch like I know what I'm doing. I don't. I don't know how to slow stitch. I know how to do a running stitch. I don't even know if that's really what it's called. I think I want to use some of this mustard color. It's kind of pretty, isn't it? Maybe that'd look good in there. I don't even know. Are you supposed to use... Can you use crochet thread to do this? Are you not supposed to? I don't know. I have no clue what I'm doing here. I just think it's fun. There's probably somebody out there that's made tons of snippet rolls and knows how to slow stitch, and they're thinking, oh, lousy, what are you doing, woman? Well, that's some old thread because it breaks really easily. Might not be the best thing to slow stitch with, but honestly, I don't, well, look at that. I just keep breaking it. I don't know where all my embroidery thread is at. Well, I guess I'm not going to be able, this is old stuff, isn't it? Okay, we'll just leave a really loose little knot there and see if I can sew with this stuff without tearing it all to pieces. So, let's see, let's put a button up here. Trying not to pull it very tight because obviously it is, I guess that's what's making it break, right? Because it's old. Sew it a little bit better or that button might just fall off since it's not very sturdy thread. Okay, well, I'm done with the slow stitching. I loved it. I love how it looks. I know that it's hard to see because it really blends in with the neutral colors. Um, but the problem was it's so old, it just kept breaking. And until I find my actual embroidery thread, I probably should just not do any more slow stitching, because chances are this is all probably going to come out anyway because it's really old. And I bet some of you, when you saw me doing it, being like, that's not going to work. And you're right, it did not. It worked, but it was difficult. It was not, I would not recommend using very vintage embroidery thread to do this. But I have to say, I love how it turned out. It's, to me, it's exactly what I wanted. It's going to be a perfect backing to this little belly band slash bookmark, whatever it is. I think that that's exactly what I was hoping it would be. I love it. I think it's going to make a perfect bookmark, and it's stiff. It's stiff enough for a bookmark. So I think when I do it, I'm just going to cut it and I'm going to sew around the edge. And I mean, it's perfect length. It's going to have some really cool stuff on both sides. Here's another piece of that that broke. Hopefully it wasn't attached. Hopefully it was just laying here. But you can see my slow stitching leaves a lot to be desired. But I do love this. I love how it looks, um, with the tea-dyed baby blanket coming out from the sides. It's just, I just love it. It's such a beautiful, grungy bookmark. I really like how this is going to be. Plus, I have all these other wonderful, all of this I can use in another thing. See, like I would probably put another button right there. But again, my thread is just so old, or a metal piece. Maybe as I use it, I can put pieces like this. I can put some of the little pieces that I use the foundry wax on, something like that. But I love this, and I'm looking at it thinking, wow, I really do have the same exact taste in whatever I do, don't, because I mean it really goes with that. And I wasn't even looking at this when I was doing it. Another thing, I could stamp some of this. I think that would look nice too. Let's grab something just to see how it works. I have these little ones. Maybe I'll do something like that. I think I'll just use the timber brown instead of black. Maybe I should use a bigger stamp than that. That's not wanting to come off too well. Or maybe it just doesn't need to be stamped. What do you think? Yeah, it doesn't really work that well, but you can see it. I mean, it's light, but it's there. Something like that. You can kind of see it over to the edge. You could do that on some of these fabric pieces. Do a number, anything like that. That didn't quite show up as good as I hoped it would, but it still looks neat. I hope you guys like this. I hope that it inspired you to make a snippet roll. I know that you probably all have done this at one point. I can honestly say, though, I've never made a fabric one. And there's little navy hands. I hope that you like this. I hope you were inspired. I thank you so much for watching. Me and Navy both thank you. Thank you for watching. God bless, and I will see you next time. Bye.